Well, hi there. Are you confused about how music theory works and when to add rest to complete a measure of rhythm? Well, you're about to learn the UMT proven system and two little symbols that make learning rhythm and rest as easy as apple pie. Yum! I'm about to reveal reason number 8 in the top 15 reasons why we learn music theory faster through play. I'm Gloria St. Germain from Ultimate Music Theory. And after years of teaching and professional development and research, I created the Ultimate Music Theory program together with Shelagh McKibbon-U'Ren. And we've impacted thousands of teachers through the Ultimate Music Theory certification course, the UMT Workbooks, the app, and games to share these concepts in how we learn more effectively. And I'm excited to share these must-have step-by-step strategies to teach music theory concepts in an engaging and fun and, of course, memorable way. So here's why you learn music theory faster through play. Reason number 8. Develop problem-solving skills. Now, children at play are solving problems, which is why it's so important to engage in play-based learning. Students learn concepts and develop problem-solving skills during times of play-based exploration and learning different games and different activities. And play is a context for creativity and mathematical development, as these learning activities help students focus on the content and develop critical thinking and problem-solving skills. So if you're a music teacher or you just love music theory, then you're in the right place to learn some new ideas on how you can learn through play with the Ultimate Music Theory program. And today we're looking at the Prep 1 and the Prep 2 levels. So that's the green book and the purple book. And it's going to be a lot of fun today. And Sola and Tito are here too. Hey guys, nice to see you here. Sola and Tito, woohoo. We're going to be playing lots of games and we got some great ideas for you. And we're going to be learning about the games that are in the Prep game pack today, which includes 6 games and instructions on how to play the game on the back with 6 ways to play each game. So it's a lot of fun. The Prep game pack also includes the Ultimate Music Theory guide and chart. And you'll notice here on the chart, on the bottom here, that we have note and rest values. And the interesting thing here is that there's no clef. And because rests are always written in the same place in both the treble staff and the bass clef, treble clef and bass clef, we just wanted to show you exactly where is the correct placement. So here you'll see the correct placement for the whole rest, the half rest, the quarter rest, and the 8th rest. And today we're talking about rest. I think we all need to rest once in a while, right? I know I certainly do. So inside the Prep 1 Rudiments workbook, you're learning about rest placement. So let's take a little peek inside here. You ready for this? Now, the problem is that when adding rest to complete a measure of rhythm, it can be really confusing with how does it all work? So Sheila and I created a unique system to help students understand rest rules. And this is a proven system and it has 2 little symbols. I'm going to share them with you today. And they are called the plus sign and the tilde sign. That makes learning rhythm and rest really, really easy. And so here's how it works. In our last video, you learned about groupings and about scoops. And a scoop is a visual aid in grouping basic beats in a measure. And now when you have the pulse of strong to weak, a strong can be joined to a weak. So we use the plus sign symbol. And when you have a pulse of a weak to a medium or a weak to a weak, you cannot join the pulse. So now we're going to use the tilde sign, and that's just a little squiggle. It's kind of fun to draw that squiggle. And we want to make sure that we're combining rests for strong plus weak or medium plus weak beats. But we're not combining rests when it's going to be a weak, which is the little tilde symbol, the little squiggle there, to another weak. So medium to weak or weak to weak, we always use the little tilde sign, the little squiggle. And the tilde sign is a sign in logic that means to not connect. So we're going to use 2 separate rests for that one. Now, one of the games in the prep game pack, I was just showing you here, is called Rest Time. And this was created by Ultimate Music Theory certified teacher Joanne Barker, who is our UMT game designer, and Shelagh McKibbon-U'Ren, of course, and myself. And thank goodness, because we're playing Rest Time, and we all need a rest. So on the back of the rest game is 6 ways to play the game. And we're going to pick one at the tabletop variation and one at the piano today. So I hope you're ready to have some fun. The first one we're going to play is at the tabletop. So I'm going to pick Bad Apples. Bad apples. So using your dry erase marker, and that actually comes in the Ultimate Music Theory Party Pack. It's included in your whiteboard kit. We're going to use your dry erase marker today. So the teacher adds, you're going to use this, the teacher adds a rest directly underneath the bracket on the game, and be sure that some are correct and some are incorrect. So I'm going to show you here, I've actually added a few, and I'm going to do them on my whiteboard just so it's a little bit easier for you to see them. So then the student has to identify whether they're correct or incorrect, and then draw a check mark or draw an X through any bad apples. So an incorrect answer is a bad apple. So in 2/4 time, and I've actually created this on my whiteboard, thought it would be easier for you to see it. So in 2/4 time, I've added a quarter rest just before my 2/8 notes. So that one would be correct. So we can put a check mark on there, and you would put a check mark just on your apple 2/4 time. Check. That one is correct. Now here is one that's in 4/4 time. Now think about this. We have 2 quarter rests followed by 2/8 notes and a quarter rest. So if it's at the beginning of the measure, it's a strong, weak will, then we would have to combine these, the plus sign, remember the little plus in here. So then this one would be incorrect. That one is not right. That is a bad apple. And if you're a teacher, don't eat that bad apple. Let's do another one. In 3/4 time, I have a half rest. Here's my 3/4 time. I have a half rest on the strong plus weak beat. And I can combine those into one half rest. So this one is correct. And so I'll do a check mark. Correct. And you would do these on your apples on the game, right? And finally, in 2/4 time, we see here that we have a triplet of 3 eighth notes beamed together as a triplet, 8th note, followed by an 8th rest. Does that look correct? Let's think about that. A triplet of 3 8th notes equals 2 8th notes of the same value. So a triplet 8th note equals 2 8th notes, which equals 1 quarter note. So that should have been a quarter rest, not an 8th rest. So that, in fact, is a bad apple. Do not eat that apple. That is not tasty at all. So we played bad apples on the game, and it's a lot of fun because you can just use your little dry erase marker and play it again as many times as you like. And now it's time to play rest time on our whiteboard. So here's what I've got for you. On the whiteboard, let's move this little guy here. Yes. On the whiteboard, I'll just put him here. Sol and Tito are so helpful when I'm doing all of this, I might add. So I have 4/4 time. I'm actually going to use that black marker here so you can see it. So on the whiteboard, I have 4/4 time for a few measures here, as you can see. And I've written in the basic beat, which is 1 quarter note. So with 4 quarter notes below each measure, the pulse is strong, weak, medium, weak. And when you're combining a strong plus weak, we always use the plus sign, the tilde, or the plus sign, sorry. And if we have 2 quarter notes, so I'm going to cross off the last one here. So we have medium and weak. They are done. That's toast. So now we have to combine the strong plus weak into 1 rest. So I'm going to put a little plus sign here, and I'm going to add a half rest. Just color it in. There we go. And cross off the strong, and cross off the weak. So this is a proven system that we use throughout the Ultimate Music Theory program. And now you can reinforce these concepts using the problem-solving technique of using the plus sign and the tilde sign symbol. It's very effective. And it's fun when you learn through play because you can easily erase it. If you make a mistake, you just use your little dry eraser and go ahead and try it again. Now, the next measure is a little bit tricky because we have a strong beat, but you'll notice that it's only part of a beat. And I've actually used a little scoop here to indicate that, well, wait a second. You have to finish that beat one first. So I'm going to use an 8th rest, which actually stops right on line number 2. We want to make sure that we're doing that correctly. And now the 8th rest is combined with the 8th note, and so that equals beat 1. So now I can cross off beat 1. So now the first thing I have to do before I just start putting in a rest is look at the pulse. And a weak cannot be joined to a medium. So here we have to use the tilde sign, right? So I'm going to add my little tilde sign in here, right? He's all by himself. So we have to use the tilde sign. There's just a little squiggle. And remember, in logic, that means to not connect. And I'm going to put 1 quarter rest all by itself right here. And then I'm going to cross off beat number 2. Now we have to look at the pulse again, because what do we have left? We have a medium to a weak. So can they be combined? Say yes. And we're going to add a plus sign. Plus, medium plus weak can be combined. And then we're going to add a half rest right above beat number 3. And then we can cross off beat number 3 and beat number 4. Now in the very last measure, we have triplet 8th notes. Now I have a little tip for you. When you have a group of 3, and I always suggest that you draw 2 notes of the same value directly above it. So triplet 8th notes equals 2 8th note values, and we draw that directly above it. And it just makes it a little bit easier to recognize the rhythm, because remember the KISS method, right? Keep it super simple. And now we can cross off beat number 1, the strong beat. He's done. Now I'm going to go all the way to the end of the measure, because we always have to complete what we have first. And at the end of the measure, I'm going to cross off beat number 4, the weak beat. So he's done. So far, so good. You with me? Okay, so now before we add rest, we need to look at the pulse, right? And the pulse says it's a weak to a medium. So do we use the plus sign or do we use the tilde sign? The tilde sign. Correct. Good job. Let's put our little squiggle in there. So now I'm going to add the tilde sign and add 2 quarter rests. And then we've completed the measure and we can cross off basic beat 2 and 3. So 2 quarter rests and then cross off basic beat 2 and basic beat 3. So now we've done our game using our rest time game, and we've written it on the whiteboard. So now it's time to play at the piano. So again, on the back of the game, I'm going to play an apple for the teacher. And I like apples. So here's our at the piano solo, and an apple for the teacher. And that would be me. So I like apples. So here's how this game goes. The student listens as the teacher plays one of the apple rhythms on the piano. And the student finds the apple on the game, and using the dry erase marker, they're going to add the correct rest under the bracket. So that sounds pretty easy. So I want you to listen to one measure. It's in 4/4 time, and I'm going to play it for you right now so you can see the game. I'll give you a hint. It's up here somewhere. So are you ready? Okay, here it is. I'll play it for you again. Could you hear it? Ta, rest, ti, ti, ta. Very good. And so now you have them play it back, and you can play it an octave higher. You can play it an octave lower. You may even want to change the major sound to a minor sound, right? So let's see what that sounds like. Now notice that even though we're changing the major to a minor, it doesn't change the rhythm. And so you would simply add your rhythm right in here, and then the student, and if it's correct, of course, you get the apple. And there's many different variations. And often when I'm playing this with my students, I will even add articulation or dynamics, right? You can play it softly, you can play it loudly, but remember, the rhythm doesn't change. So here's an activity that you can do with your students, and this requires creative thinking and problem solving. So let's take a look at the back of the whiteboard. But wait, there's more. Okay, how are we going to do this? I will just get so fancy over here with this one here. So on the back of the whiteboard, it's blank, right? The back of the whiteboard is blank. So here's a great activity to do with your students. Ask them to write 3 measures of rhythm, okay? It's their choice for 2/4 time, 3/4 time, or 4/4 time. Now here's the tricky part. There are rules. Here's the tricky part. The last measure for each time signature must be filled with silence. What type of rest will fill each measure with silence? Well, here's the interesting thing. Today we talked about the plus sign and the tilde sign. And in fact, when we have a whole measure, the strong pulse, and it's completely empty, and we're adding a rest, the strong pulse is so strong that it can pick up a strong plus weak, or a strong plus weak, or a strong plus weak plus medium plus weak. It picks up everyone, and we add one whole rest. So that is the answer that will be the same in all of them, 2/4, 3/4, or 4/4. But have students make up their own. They need to use their creativity, and then have them clap it or tap it or say it or play it while creating a little melody. Now, in our next video, I'll reveal reason number 9 in how the top 15 reasons on why you learn music theory faster through play, with a little game called Busy Bees with Shelagh. Sometimes I feel like a super busy bee, let me tell you. You'll learn a unique way of identifying neighboring notes and what a difference a semitone can make. That's going to be a good one. Now, remember to get your Ultimate Music Theory Party Pack, which includes your prep game pack, your basic game pack, your very own Shelagh and Tito stuffies. They were hanging out with us today. Your whiteboard, remember it's reversible with your dry erase marker and eraser. And so you're ready to play, because it's fun to learn through play. Now, if you've enjoyed this video on why we learn faster through play, please love, comment. I'd love to know how you use the game in your studio. Make sure that you share and subscribe, and so you'll have access to all of our upcoming videos. Make sure to join our private Facebook group. It's the Ultimate Music Theory group, where we share a lot more little tips and tricks as you are teaching and learning music theory. So as always, sparkle like a Shelagh and teach with passion. Till next time.